Alright, so let's continue. Now in this part, we will be working on calculating the total amount of the cart as well as the individual items in the cart based upon their respective quantity. So I made a small change right over here where we are fetching all the books and we are returning them right away in the form of JSON. Now because we have this thing outside the if block, it means that if we visit the new order API URL, it will trigger off this function, and because we are not checking for any specific method, it's going to return us back this thing like all the books. So if we take a look and if we try to visit the URL, as you can see, we got all the books. So that's good. Now that we have it, we can actually implement the logic to calculate the total amount of individual book that we have in the cart. So for that, I've been thinking about something, as in like how exactly should we calculate the individual items quantity, like total amount. But even before that, like what exactly should we do? So the thing is that in the confirm order API, over here we are formatting the cart. Like we are taking all the items that we have in the cart and we are formatting it in a way that it is a string by the time we add it in the Google Sheet and also send it to Slack channel. So the thing is that instead of doing this, instead of formatting the cart in the confirm order, we can do it right at the time of creating a new order. Like before we even push the data to the database, the temporary database. So let's actually do that. So I'm going to copy this, cut this entire thing, move the entire thing, which would mean that instead of formatted cart, it's going to be just cart. Basically, whatever the cart value is coming from the order document, we are saving it directly in the Google Sheet as well as to the Slack channel, the message. So now over here, we can actually add it right somewhere around here. And now let's actually work on it. So what we need to do, we first need the cart. So let's actually get that real quick. By the way, like let's just kind of figure out the logic before we get to the part of actually saving it in the database. And once we are done with this part, we can actually move the entire code somewhere around here. So first we need the cart, which we can get from the request body. And now we have to do pretty much the same thing. Like we have to form a string, but we also want to calculate the total amount. So it would mean that somewhere around here, so the next thing, the next value is actually the book name, and this is the quantity, right? The item name and the quantity. So somewhere around in the middle, we will be adding equals to and a $sign, and then again the other one for the template literal, the string interpolation that we have to do. So in order to calculate, we need to have the particular book first, right? We need to have that document from which we can get the price. So on each iteration, again, there are many different ways to solve a problem, like to figure out a solution. So what I'm about to do, it may not be the best or the most optimal way, but then again, feel free to refactor. Let me just do this thing first, and then we can talk about like few other ways to do the same thing. Anyways, so the first one would be to get the book document on each iteration. So as we have all the books, we can find the particular book by the name which we have, the same as of the item that we are iterating over. So now that we have the book, we can actually get the price. And now that I think of it, as we only need the price, we can just have it in this way and add in the dot price in such a way. But there is one other thing, because the price that we have, it's in string, and we need to first convert it into a number. Let's actually do that over here. So this is the quantity, right? So we will be using the same thing, but we're going to multiply this thing with number price, like the price thing in number. And also in order to take care of the decimals that we faced earlier in like while working on the front end, let's wrap the entire thing and add 2 fixed to be of 2. So now that's the thing, and I would say let's actually return it back, the formatted cart, and let's give it a shot. So because we have it in this way, it means that in order to actually see this thing working, we need to open up the network tab. Pretty obvious. So let's actually do that right over here. So add these two. I'm going to increase the quantity. So check this out. This is 5.99 and this is $30. So let's give it a shot. It's completed. And boom, there we have it. So that is perfect. Now, although it may not look that kind of something intriguing, you can say, but the thing to keep in mind is the value that we are calculating, it's actually coming from the sheet. So this thing is sure shot that it's gonna be authentic, right? It's gonna be legit. So that's the first part. Now the other one is to calculate the total amount. By the way, as I was saying earlier, that there are many different ways to do the same thing. In regards to that, let me actually suggest one other way that I just thought of, that instead of finding out each book, right, like from the books collection, maybe again, I would not say that it's the best way, but we can have something like books with price, which would actually be like, let me actually suggest what I'm trying to convey. So which would actually be that the book name would again be the key, the same way that we have in the cart, but the value would be the price, like something like this. So over here, somewhere around here, we can just kind of, instead of finding each book, we will be having a master array with like all the books with prices, and we can just kind of do those square brackets and get the value. But again, I would say this is a much better approach, because think of it that we are only finding the book that we actually care about. But in this way, like if we convert the entire thing into a huge object, like the same as of cart, not as of cart, but like instead of an array, let me actually do it over here. Like we'll be having all the books. I think I made it clear, but still, like something like this, the same way that we have, not the same way anyway. So we will be having something like this. This would be the other book, and we will be able to just get the value, the price value, by just searching for that particular book, like in such a way. I hope this thing is clear. But again, I would say this is like much better than the other approach that I suggested. Anyway, so that's that. And now we just need to work on the total amount. Let's do that. Again, for the total amount, there are many different ways. So over here, we can have the total amount by default. Well, actually it has to be let, because we will be changing this value. So over here, we will be having, let's actually do one thing, because we're going to make use of this thing 2 times. So let's actually move the entire bad boy over here, and the total amount that we have, total amount, we're going to be doing total amount plus the amount in this way. And over here, we can just place the amount. And let's return both of these things right away, total amount. Let's give it a shot. So over here, we are basically doing the same thing. And there is one other thing which I think, so over here, we got the total amount, and we actually have to do the same thing. Like, let's use the toFixed right over here. Right, so we have the total amount, sorry, the amount of the book, and yep, I think that would be it. Let's actually give it a shot. Bada boom, bada bam. So it's 17.97, 30 and 47.97. Let's place the order. Let's see what do we have, and we got an error. Yep. What is it? toFixed. Total amount, toFixed. Actually, let's remove this thing just for the time being, and we will do it before we add the entry to the cart, sorry, to the database. And now we have it, which is, I don't know what's up with this boy. That doesn't look nice. 17.97, that's fine. 30 is okay. What's up with this? Okay, total amount plus the amount. I think I do know what might be the problem. Is it something with the string thing? Obviously it is, because 17.97, 30.00. So let's actually see. Is it because this is the cart, right? So this is the price. Well, it should be a number for obvious reason, but somehow total amount is 0. That's fine. So 1 second, let me just actually, I don't understand. Sometimes it's the smallest things, right? I'm gonna give it a shot once again, hoping that something happens which is a bit more descriptive. So there we have the new order, and yep, so I believe it's something related to the total amount, right? Because this is 0 initially, and then it's this. Okay, so it is indeed a string, but this is a number, and this is, it has to be a number, right? So just to be on the safe side, let's actually have it in this way, and I'm gonna add the items again. Let's check it out. Let's see. And boom, it's fixed. Obviously we need to use that toFixed, but overall it's working. So let's actually continue with the same thing in the next video. Thank you.